Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, infinite consciousnesses, infinite souls. Thanks so much for dropping by. So this topic is near and dear to me because there's so many teachers out there who have either given themselves the title guru or been given the title guru by their followers. And it's very important to know what that word actually means. For example, in the Western world, and of course now it's spread all throughout the world, the title MD, medical doctor, has a very specific meaning. It means that they've gone through, with their undergraduate, 8+ years of schooling, and then on top of that, worked directly under other certified doctors, accumulated vast amounts of knowledge, taken ethical vows, and by society standards are qualified to dispense substances which, if dispensed wrongly, are deadly. So they've been entrusted with a high level of care. Now, I'm not here defending the institution of Western medicine or doctors. Allopathic medicine is what it is. But you can see that the title MD has quite a bit of weight to it. And if a doctor misbehaves, there is a disciplinary board to whom they have to answer. And if it's shown that they've messed up, they can lose that title and be no longer allowed to practice medicine. So, guru is even a more intense. To be a guru is, and I put my hand here on my heart, I'm not a guru. It's because this subject touches my heart. To be a guru is even a more intense responsibility to be a doctor, because a guru dispenses spiritual medicine, which, if sent or misdispensed, can not only lead to the destruction of this life, but can send one on a completely wrong course that can take lifetimes to correct. So the task, the role of being a guru is sacred beyond words. In fact, there's a Hindu saying, if you're walking down the road and you have to make a choice, and there's two forks. I'm totally paraphrasing, but there's two forks in the road. One fork leads you to a hungry tiger who almost certainly will eat you and kill you, and the other road leads to a false guru. Take the first road and run to that tiger, because a false guru will blankety blank you up, like that would make being mauled and eaten like a tiger seem like an act of love. Okay, so now we're in the 21st century. The internet is active. Spiritual teachings from the East are finding their way into the West. And there's a lot of teachers who have either taken on the name guru or act like a guru, or their students have given them that. This is why it's so important. A guru, in the traditional sense of the word, is a being who has completely purified themselves of ego, of vice, or purified themselves to such an extent that they are next to, if not completely, pure. That means they don't have any motive other than communing with God and serving. To such a being, it is appropriate to surrender. To such a being, you can really entrust your life to them and their teaching. Why? Because they've completely entrusted themselves to God. And so from that place, they are a trustworthy, you could say, servant or vessel in whom you can put your trust into. In the 21st century, there's only one teacher that I'm aware of that I would think of as a guru, and that's Amachi. Every other spiritual teacher I would not. I've not heard of or aware of any other teacher, and I've been all around the world, and I've sat in satsang with, I've lost count, 17, 18, 19. Now, I'm not talking about the Tibetan Buddhist, excuse me, I'm not talking about traditional Tibetan Buddhist, which is its own thing and its own system. I'm talking about mostly what I'm talking about is teachers who aren't allied with any tradition. And that's where the problem comes in. A doctor who just goes off and says, I'm a doctor, and practices medicine without having gone through the proper training, without being certified by proper authorities, isn't really a doctor. But they can put on a good show and convince people they're a doctor. That's what's happening here in the West. Mostly what's happening is what we're getting is self-improvement and spiritual technology salespeople, right? Because there's almost always money motive at hand. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with teaching self-improvement and offering spiritual technologies, or, what I mean by that is just spiritual practices, or, healing modalities. But let's be crystal clear. None of those things is going to lead to the ultimate spiritual goal of liberation, meaning liberation from suffering. You can't be a liberated being and charge money for it. That's like going out into the ocean where there's a bunch of people drowning in a rowboat, and going around offering your hand to rescue these people, and then saying, oh, but only if you'll give me some money first. Someone who's liberated, they're like a dog in heat. They're desperate to give away what they found. They found salvation. They found freedom from all suffering. And from that place, their whole life is devoted to literally saving other beings from the sea of suffering. So again, I'm not here to criticize any of the people who are charging money, any of the people who are teaching spiritual techniques, anyone who's not really a guru. The only thing I'm here to say in this particular video is that the role of guru is very specific and very currently abused. And there have been, in the last 15 years, there have been oodles, and more. It's like, it's kind of laid off now, but last year there were like 7 or 8 major sex scandals, and it's because the people doing this were not allied with a tradition. They hadn't gone through the proper training to be a guru. They hadn't purified themselves. So let's be careful with the G word. It's a very precious word. It's very rare to find a being who's so utterly devoted to God that all they want to do is help with no ulterior motive. And we here in the West are inundated with teachers who have motive up the wazoo. Worship, people wanting to be worshipped, people wanting to be taken care of, people wanting to be make a lot of money, people wanting power, teachers wanting power. Not people, excuse me, teachers. Teachers wanting to be worshipped, teachers wanting power, teachers wanting money, teachers wanting sex, teachers wanting fame. So, there are rare examples like Ramana Maharshi, who didn't go through formal training. And the religious authorities of India completely embraced him because he was the real deal. So let's not throw around the G word. Let's be really mindful. Take care, dear ones. Because a guru is someone you can entrust your entire life, heart, and soul to. Anything else is just a teacher. It's not bad. It's great I'm a spiritual teacher. Most people look to me in that way, but I'm very clear, and I tell them over and over, I'm not perfect. I'm not a guru. And my job is just to connect you to connect anyone who looks to me in that way, connect them to God, like to get them not coming to my, currently it's mostly online, like not coming to my, getting them independent of me to where they're able to go off and offer help. And I don't charge. That's the other thing. I don't have money motive. So as soon as I hear that someone's a spiritual teacher, my radar goes off, and I just start. And it's like, because see, the thing is we want to believe, oh, so and so is a spirit. Like spiritual teacher generally nowadays means, oh, they're awakened and they can lead people. That's not what a spiritual teacher is. A spiritual teacher is someone who teaches on spiritual, holistic, or healing topics. End of story. We've kind of added all these other stories on top of it. And that's why people are getting abused, is because on top of this confusion about what's a guru and what's a spiritual teacher, we've added all these stories like spiritual teachers are pure, spiritual teachers are good, spiritual teachers are holy. No, spiritual teachers are just people doing a job. And there's a wide range of, because it's, there's no licensing board for spiritual teaching. So they've got people who are completely scam artists. And there are plenty of spiritual teachers out there who don't take the role of guru, who are very pure, but there's just a very wide range. And it's my intention to make some more videos to clarify how to tell whether where the person falls on that spectrum of like, get the blankety blank away, or really pure, really can help, or very pure, it can be very helpful. Thanks. Much love. The light is within. And many, many traditions say that we need a good teacher to help awaken that. And it's my experience that that's true. And that's also my experience that we have to kind of spy on our teacher. You have to spy on a teacher and really discern before you take. To see a spiritual teacher, unless they're just teaching a meditative technique, basically what they're offering is a whole reality and a sense of reality and a how to live your life. And so it's very easy for ego to get involved. And, when there's money and power and sex and the desire for prestige, then it just becomes a shit show real quick. And the reason why it's such a shit show is because on the surface, it looks and feels true and good. And that's where true discernment comes in. That's the gift of all these fake gurus and unethical spiritual teachers, is they force us to learn discernment. It's a very painful way to learn. I would invite people to learn another way. And at some point I'll make a video on that. Thank you. Mwah.